I'm living with an old lady. Isn't it obvious I should help out?
Well, this is just a penalty game, a bit of fun. You don't have to make a big deal out of it, do you? So that's your attitude. I see. If you two feel that way, I've got something in mind too. My name is Naomi. Currently, I'm living alone in the city, far from my childhood home. It takes about an hour by car to get there, which makes it hard to visit often. I manage to get back maybe once a year. Last New Year, for example, I was too busy with work to make the trip, but this year I was able to make the journey home. I've been looking forward to seeing my brother and his wife, who got married 2 years ago and are living with Mother and our family home. So I bought the souvenirs they requested and drove excitedly back home. I thought for sure we would have a fun holiday season. But then, what's going on here? When I got home, something felt off. Even from outside, the atmosphere seemed stagnant. It was as dark as a house left abandoned for several years. When I walked in, the air became even more heavy. I noticed Mother seemed to be lacking her usual energy. She was always such a cheerful and lively person. Looking at the three of them, it seemed Mother was doing all of the cleaning and cooking. Mother, are you okay? Can I help? It's all right, Naomi. You've come home after so long. You must be tired from the long drive, Mother said, not letting me assist her. Yet she was doing strenuous housework, like lifting heavy items. Despite this, my brother and Lily, my sister-in-law, just ignored Mother. Even when Mom is working right in front of them, they just keep playing their games. They even tell her to bring them tea while she's working. It's total madness. Hey, Mom, are you really okay? Should I talk to my brother for you? There might be things you're having trouble saying. It's fine, really. You don't have to worry about anything. Just relax. You're home after all. Your bed is ready in the guest room. You could even take a nap if you want. But no matter how much I ask, Mom won't tell me anything. And I thought I couldn't do anything about it. Until mealtime came as a surprise. The living room was filled with Mom's special dishes. Among them were many of my favorites. Every single dish had a nostalgic taste, and my spirits were instantly lifted. Wow, thank you. I've missed Mom's home cooking so much. Wait, what? But Mom was nowhere to be found in the living room. Incredibly, Mom wasn't coming into the living room from the kitchen. Mom, what's wrong? Aren't you coming in? If there's still some more to prepare, I can help you. Puzzled, I went to check in the kitchen, and there was Mom, eating, standing up. No chair, just eating alone in the cold kitchen. Mom, why aren't you coming here? Why are you eating in such a place? It's how it always is, so it's fine. But I made plenty, so make sure to eat. I like to think my cooking hasn't gone downhill. Mom just said this, looking sad. And yet in the living room, my brother and his wife were eating without a care about Mom. As they're watching TV and chatting away, I can't help but feel bewildered. Hey, what's going on, bro? Sister-in-law, why is Mom eating in the kitchen? Doesn't that strike you as strange?
Well, Mom has her issues too. You wouldn't understand because you don't live with us.
My brother replies nonchalantly. Exactly, my sister-in-law adds. For instance, as you age, your knees start to hurt and sitting becomes a pain. You probably wouldn't know unless you live together. Sometimes it's easier to stand. Sitting can make it worse. They respond like it's the most natural thing in the world. I find their attitude odd, but I can't find the words to object. Indeed, it's been 2 years since I last saw Mom. We haven't been in touch often, so there could be some circumstances I'm not aware of. So I backed off at that moment. But as I observed more closely over time, I realized something is off with Mom. To be precise, something is off between my brother, his wife, and Mom. They don't try to engage Mom in conversation. They act as if she's not there at all. It's as though only I can see her. But then again, my brother and his wife have only been married for 2 years. They've been living with Mom since their newlywed days, so they probably haven't had much alone time. Maybe they're still in that lovey-dovey honeymoon phase. Maybe they want to stay absorbed in their own little world. That could be a way to look at it. And it's not like I, who isn't usually around, can dictate how often they should be conversing with Mom. With those unsettling thoughts, I went to bed that night. But the real surprise came later. In the middle of the night, I woke up needing to use the restroom. And there she was, Mom, asleep, in the frigid hallway by the front door. Although she had many blankets covering her, it was a particularly cold night. Perhaps it was because of the severe cold front hitting us, but Mom was shivering from the cold. Mom, Mother, what's going on? Why are you sleeping out here?
It's nothing new. You don't have to worry about me.
No way I can just let this go. Even though we don't live together normally, I couldn't ignore this. Given the late hour, I decided to take Mom to the guest room where I was staying, and so the two of us went to sleep in the warm room. The next morning, I immediately confronted my brother and his wife about what had happened. You don't talk to Mother. You make Mother do all the housework? She even has to eat standing up in the kitchen. And why is she sleeping in the hallway? But even as I got angry, my brother just grinned. Instead, it was my sister-in-law who blurted out something unthinkable. Well, it's because Mother-in-law is always causing trouble. It's her punishment, right?
Exactly my point.
Punishment? What do you mean? When you rack up too many nuisance points, there are penalties. At 5 points, meals are in the kitchen. At 10 points, you handle all the chores yourself. At 20 points, you sleep in the hallway. Right now, our dear mother-in-law is sitting at a whopping 200 points, so she only has to bear with it for a few more days.
What does that even mean? Isn't that terrible? And what do you mean by nuisance?
As I hastily fired my questions, my sister-in-law answered in a laid-back manner. What counts as nuisance? Well, like, when the food doesn't taste to our liking. For us dual-income workers, that's the worst. It's super disappointing to come home after a long day, looking forward to a good meal, only to find out that it's not tasty.
What? Just cook your own food then. Naomi, you don't get it. We're the ones working outside, right? Don't you know how much of a hassle it is to cook?
That's right, Naomi. My mother-in-law doesn't work, so the least she can do is cook. It's really inconvenient to have an unproductive person at home, you know.
Exactly. We're out there working, and she's just home all day. Quite the life, isn't it?
Brother, aren't you being a bit harsh? Mother raised us by herself after Dad passed away. She worked and handled all the housework. She protected us.
Huh? That's just a parent's duty.
Right, that's it. My brother and his wife burst into laughter. Seeing them, I realized there was no point in discussing this further. So I said, "Oh, so that's how you see it. Understood. Then I'll fulfill my duty as a daughter as well." With that, I began to pack Mother's belongings without waiting for their response. Mother's possessions were far fewer than when I last saw them 2 years ago. Just seeing that made my heart ache. But I held back my tears, finished packing, and helped Mother, who was apologizing, into my car. My brother and his wife watched us, grinning from ear to ear.
Finally, they're taking the nuisance off our hands. Score.
This home is ours now, Kevin. Let's enjoy it from here on out. I ignored their jubilation and drove off with Mother, heading to our home. A few days later, after the New Year's celebration had ended, it was back to work. Then a frantic call from my brother arrived.
Hey, nothing's arrived. What's going on?
Really? After what you did to Mother, do you think things would go on as usual? Brother, do you understand your position?
What are you talking about? I didn't do anything wrong to you.
True. You did nothing to me. But what about our mother? Think before you speak. With that, I hung up on him. It wasn't long before my sister-in-law called. What the? I just saw your email. What do you mean you're cutting ties with us? Explain yourself. Explanation, you say? Yes, cutting ties? What does that even mean? Cutting ties means stopping business with you. How many years have you been in the workforce that you don't understand that? Are you okay functioning in society? Wait, that's not what I meant. Don't insult me. Why does our company have to be cut off? Are you really asking that? At this rate, you're less of a professional and more of a, are you okay as a human being? You do remember what happened a few days ago, right? And with that, I hung up on her too. Truth be told, I currently work at a major company. My brother freelances for us, taking on occasional writing tasks. Though it feels odd to do this to my own brother, there are plenty of other writers. As for my sister-in-law, she's the daughter of a CEO who subcontracts with our company. My department handles their contract. Honestly, cutting off our business ties was easy. After handling the calls, I took a deep breath to compose myself. Then I sent both of them the same message. You both mistreated Mother. As her daughter, I will fight to protect her. Anyone who is an enemy of Mother is an enemy of mine, and I won't hold back. After all, the two of you met when my sister-in-law visited our company for work, and my brother was just looking for more work from me. Despite such circumstances, you really thought it was okay to be so rude? I hate to say it, but I've been helping both of you out since you met. But that ends today. It seemed they both read the message quickly and replied in haste.
I didn't forget. I treated you better than any brother would to his sister. I even spruced up the guest room for the New Year's celebration. I couldn't leave that to Mother.
I also had Mother-in-law prepare your favorite foods, Naomi. You're going to forget that kindness? After reading their messages, I replied, You couldn't leave it to Mother? You had to prepare? How dare you disrespect the woman who raised me so lovingly? You both disgust me. Brace yourselves. In the end, I stopped passing work to my brother. There were plenty of others who were more careful and faster than him. Without our familial connection, there was no need to favor him. One day, a coworker who didn't know about my relationship with Kevin asked,
Hey, Naomi, this Kevin Ryder, he hasn't been active lately, right? Is he not taking on our work anymore?
Yeah. He told me he doesn't like our work and to stop sending it his way, so I think we can just ignore him.
Wow, what a strange guy. Without any significant skills yet? Honestly, I wonder if he'll be okay cutting off our work. I get it. He was a bit of an oddball, wasn't he? Exactly. He breaks deadlines, acts all high and mighty, and for some reason, he's quite aggressive when it comes to price negotiations. If we don't have to work with him anymore, it's a relief.
From an outsider's perspective, this is how my brother is viewed when I stopped passing him work. He once mentioned that 90% of his income came from our company, so he must be in quite a pickle now. With that attitude and skill level, I doubt he can easily find new work. Well, let him struggle for all I care. It seems his wife, my sister-in-law, got a serious scolding from her father after he found out what she had been doing to Mother. Her father contacted me in a panic.
I will disown my daughter, so please, I beg of you, keep our relationship as it has been. If there are any other conditions, I will accept them.
He's the president of a company we subcontract to. I can't just ignore him after he said that. So I set a condition. In that case, I want your daughter and my brother to leave our house immediately, and I want her to sincerely apologize to Mother. Of course, she'll also need to pay a suitable amount of compensation in the divorce settlement. The president immediately relayed this to my sister-in-law, but she seemed to refuse. Why do I have to apologize? Living with that old woman is stressful enough, Dad. You need to stand up for yourself more. You're pathetic. Given this attitude, I decided not to reinstate the deal. I feel sorry for the president, but it's karma. After all, he started giving unreasonable estimates as soon as my brother and his daughter got married. He's strong in price negotiations, but lacks in meeting deadlines and maintaining communication. If he weren't a relative, I would have cut off the business relationship a lot sooner. Above all, he's the man who raised such a sister-in-law. There's no need for me to go out of my way to help him. And so, my brother and his wife were cornered. According to local friends, they seem to have left their home at some point. The house originally belonged to our parents, my brother, and me. It's quite spacious for 4 people. For just the 2 of them, the utility bills must have been quite high. According to that friend, they apparently spotted my brother and his wife in an apartment that didn't even have a bathroom or toilet. It seems they must really be struggling now without a job. But that's no longer my concern, even if they suddenly decide to apologize. I have absolutely no intention of forgiving them. On the other hand, in stark contrast to these 2, Mom has been regaining her energy. She sleeps in a soft bed in my house and enjoys her meals in a warm place. She doesn't need to push herself to do housework and can relax on her days off. After months of living this way, she's returned to her former energetic self. I was wrong back then. I convinced myself that your brother and his wife were right. I thought I had to obey because I was no good. Naomi, thank you for saving me. No, I should apologize for not realizing sooner. I'm sorry that I let you suffer, Mom. From now on, please tell me immediately if anything happens. We have to make up for the past by being happy. Recently, it seems Mom has even made some friends in the neighborhood. She claims the unfamiliar city is exciting, and she enjoys exploring it. Watching Mom enjoy herself like this is my greatest pleasure. From now on, I want to show my appreciation for the mom who raised me. That's the strong resolution I've made.